Hello everyone, a few of you have been asking me about tips for going on course, so for everyone who's asked, I have a list of tips, basically, I'm going to be sharing with you. Firstly, I'll just talk about if you're trying to get on course, what you should be doing. So, because I'm warrant officer, obviously, not my squadron, I'm involved in choosing who should go on course, or course candidates. The three things we're looking out for is academics, so just doing well academically, acadets. Discipline, so doing what you're told, following the rules, and that involves stuff like having good uniform, that's good discipline. And then command presence, which is your ability to stand up as a leader. When you're trying to show command presence, it's really important that you are not undermining your current leaders. So if your secco is trying to tell you something, trying to lead you on a biv or something, it's not your job to step up and take over from them. It's more in group activities or group settings where there's no one designated specific leader where you can step up and take that leadership role. So you need to make sure that you're not undermining over other people, but you also need to make sure you're not overbearing when you're leading. So if you do find yourself in that leadership role, making sure that you're not autocratic. So you're not making all the decisions, you're listening to other people, you just stand up as the leader. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So I have 15 course tips here. Number one, perfect your uniform beforehand. It is going to be really annoying if you're spending your night times on course polishing your boots because they're not shining enough, or re-sewing on your patches because they're not the right heights, or trimming bits off. Also, you'll get told off for it. Just make sure that it's perfect beforehand. And if you really need help, I would say check the manual of dress, which can be found on CadetNet. Second thing, make all of your ITs beforehand. I know on JNs it's just start thinking about it on the JI. You don't have time for that. Make them beforehand. Eat a lot, in the morning especially, because you don't think you're doing that much. You're oh, I'm sitting around in class all day, but to get between classes you march in a flight. To get places you march. You always have parade in the morning, so it's half an hour of marching. And you can get quite tired quite quickly. Something about course just makes you so hungry, or at least in my opinion, it always made me so hungry. I always ate so much, so make sure you're eating a lot. If you march within 6 paces of an officer, you need to make sure you're saluting them. Know where the saluting areas are. Generally, the mess will be a non-saluting area, but check that for your course. They'll tell you at the start, so write down where the saluting areas are. But, yeah, if you march within 6 paces of an officer, you need to salute unless they're doing other things, but pay your respects. And if you are controlling a flight, if you're course horse and you're in charge of the flight, then you need to make sure that you eyes right your flight and you salute the officer. And then, or eyes right or left, and then eyes front them, and then put your salute down. Once you get past them, but make sure you salute, because the officers will tell you at GSI that you didn't salute, and you'll get a dressing down for that. Bring a notepad and pen to your PAs and other feedback that you get. If you're ever given feedback, but especially in the PAs, take out your notepad and pen and write it down. Core staff go mental for that. They love it. Also, you should be writing it down, because then you can see you have a record of everything they said that you need to improve on, or things that you're doing well, and you can reference that. Especially if it's a skill you're learning. If you're getting IT feedback, write it down, and then you have it for when you're next doing your ITs. Yeah. Practice voice projection, not only for calling, but, practice it for calling. But in the classroom, a lot of people get on JANs and they don't realize that when you're actually talking to a class, you need to voice project quite a bit. So I would say, yeah, practice talking from the front of the classroom, get your friend up the back of the classroom, make sure they can hear you clearly so that you know how loud you need to be speaking. Relate your lessons to AAFC AIM. IT assessors absolutely froth over that. If you put in, I think I did an aviation lesson for, I think it honestly might have been all 3 courses I went on. I don't know. Definitely JANs and Essence, I did an aviation lesson. One of the aims of the AAFC is to develop an interest in aviation in a general sense. Something like that. I have it in my ITs. But basically, look at the list of aims of the AAFC and pick one that kind of relates to your lesson, or make sure it relates to your lesson, but pick one and put it in. And yeah, the ITSSs love it. If you are a girl, get the male core shirt, because the female one is super ugly, and it's got like the collar and it has one button and then it goes like open here. It's like really gross. But kind of size down from what you think you'll need is what I would say. I'll insert me wearing like 2 different sizes of core shirts. Okay, this is me wearing a men's size large shirt. As you can see, this is regular sizing, yeah? This is a large on me. This is me in my Jan's core shirt. This is a size medium in the men's. So, here you go. As you can see, the sleeves pretty much come down to my elbows. And this is me in my WAF's core shirt. This is a size small. Here you go. Ta-da! As you can see, the small fits well. Next thing is dry your DPs on a coat hanger. This is more for summer courses because it's not going to work in the winter. But what I did at Puckapunyal, at least, is I would take my DPs out of the washing machine because they take forever in the dryer and there like weren't enough dryers. So you would take your DPs and like put it on a coat hanger, like all flat, and like don't leave any creases in there, and then just hang it up somewhere and it would dry overnight. And because it dried, like hung up, there were no creases in it. That's something that worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but hot tip. Bring clothes for all weather. I know a lot of people who came to summer course and didn't realize it gets cold at night for some reason. Like a lot of people just straight up didn't bring jumpers or long pants. Like, yeah. And people who went to winter courses and didn't bring a short sleeve, like casual shirt. So I would say bring clothes for all weather, because you don't know what it's going to be like. It's 18 days. Can't look at the forecast that far ahead. When you're doing your fall correction for CNC, a rule that I like to go off is if you can't fault it, praise it. So if you're watching them do a movement, obviously you'll be expected to give fault correction for that movement. Praise is fault correction. A lot of people on course will get in hot water because you don't praise your flight at all, especially when they do something perfectly and then you just give them fault correction for something that they didn't even do wrong. So make sure that you're, number one, looking at what they're actually doing and responding to them, not just giving off, like, shooting out textbook fault corrections if it doesn't apply to the situation. So, you know, apply your knowledge. But if they're doing a movement perfectly, tell them they did it perfectly. And with that, you need to make sure that you're making your fault corrections, like, specific enough. So it's not enough to say good movement. You could say, that was good because none of you looked at the ground this time. Something like that, so they know exactly what they did right. Okay, if you just say good movement, you're not really telling them anything. And then if they messed up, you don't just say, you need to fix it, or, I don't know, bad turn. Why was it a bad turn? You could say, some of you are looking down at your feet when you're executing your turn. If that makes sense. So then they know exactly what they're doing wrong. Or if they're marching, don't be like, arm swings, okay? You need to be bringing your arm swings up to breast pocket button height so they know exactly what it is. Be confident from the start. If you are not like confident and have that command presence from the start, number one, your course mates won't respect you as much when it's like your turn to be the leader. And a lot of them can undermine you because some people don't get that you shouldn't undermine who's in charge because it reflects badly on you. But some people will try to undermine you even though you shouldn't do that. Just like all of you, do not undermine your leader because it just reflects poorly on your followership. Yeah, but be confident and have command presence from the start. It just really helps you out, like in everything in course. Oh, I have a hack that's like, I don't know, kind of Steve's getting a bin to show you, but basically what I would do is I would get a bin liner and I would put it in my bin and then put all my rubbish in that. But then I'd have another bin liner over the top that was empty that I would put over like the filled bin and kind of push it down but kind of scrunch it up. Do you know what I mean? So it looks like you've just kind of put it down, haven't had time to like punch it down into the bin. And then you have all your rubbish underneath. And then when you need to put your rubbish in, you just lift up the top bin liner, put it in and then put it back. And that's not what you're meant to do. Okay, so technically you're not meant to do that. But that's what I did. And that way you don't have to take out your bins every morning. You just take them out like once a week when it gets full. When it gets full enough that you like can't hide it. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would say ask for help with whatever you need. Your course staff are there to pass you. Like they want you to pass course. They want to help you. They just need to know what you need help with. So if you're coming up to assessment or you're really struggling with something, let them know, hey, I'm really struggling with my ITs because I feel like I'm not like charismatic enough at the front of the class, or like I feel like I'm not engaging the class well enough. Do you have any tips for that? Hey, I feel like I'm going to fail my CNC because I don't know how to call on consecutive feet and I'm really struggling with that. Can you help me? And ask people in your course. If someone in your course is really good at something, go up to them and be like, hey, how do you do this thing so well? Can you show me? Yeah? You need to get the help. It's up to you to get the help you need. People are not going to look at you and go, oh, you're struggling with this thing, let me help you out. I mean, they'll try, but they can't always know what you're struggling with. Everyone there wants you to pass. No one is working against you. So ask for the help you need. And then lastly, I would say make time for yourself. Just at downtime, like you need at least like an hour or two. I mean, if you're on COs or WAFs, you don't get that time, whatever you chose to go on offices. But like if you're on JANs on SNs or SNs, you should be able to make time for yourself. Like just to hang out with friends or call your mum or something, you know, just chill out for a bit. Because that's what's really going to help you get through it, is like having time where you feel like you could just relax. That isn't like, you need to be asleep right now, it's lights out, you know? So make time for yourself during the day, and that's really going to improve your mood a lot, I would say. That's all. If you have any questions or anything like I didn't answer that you really want to know about course, or that you want my opinion on or something, leave a comment. If you want me to make other advice videos, I guess, on different topics, leave a comment. I don't know. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this helped. Okay, bye.